This one.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this third day of the FUR conference. Welcome to especially new people who are here, who were not present in the last days. We will talk today as part of the FUR conference, the FUR Next conference of the European Forum on Urban Agriculture, on city policies for urban agriculture. And we've got a very interesting lineup for this session. We've got representatives of 6 cities across Europe, I wanted to say, mostly from the eastern and the southern part of Europe. We've got representatives from the city of Sofia, the city of Krakow, the city of Thessaloniki, and also people from Copenhagen, Trojan from Bulgaria as well, and I'm missing one, Turin. So a very interesting lineup, all having their very interesting experiences. Sometimes I also guess challenges with urban agriculture policies. And we thought it would be very interesting to share these experiences. On the one hand, to know what is happening in the different cities, but also to see to what extent cities can also learn from each other. So that's the idea of this, the session of this morning. We've got 4 speakers before the coffee break, and we've got 3 speakers after the coffee break. The idea is that we have a short presentation, I hope maximum 10 minutes, of the different cities. If it gets too long, I'll let you know diplomatically. And then we have some opportunities for questions from the audience, I think, but to make it a little bit more interactive and give more opportunities for people also to respond, we also thought that it would be good to have the opportunity that people in the audience give their suggestions in another way. So we thought to put here on the side, we've got flip overs for each city. And the people in the audience, they will get post-it notes where you can write some idea or a suggestion that you have for one of the cities. Of course, the cities themselves can also participate in that. You can stick it on the flip over. Don't do it during the session, but in a break. And afterwards, we will take, well, how do you call it? We will harvest, let's say, the ideas that are also on the flip overs. And as a last question, I want already to put that on the table, but we will have an open discussion at the end. We also think that this could be a nice exercise to see, is there a basis for some kind of more how do you call it, more stable, more sustainable network of cities exchanging ideas and experiences, best practices, lessons on urban agriculture policies, which maybe also could operate under the FUR project or the FUR community, which will continue after this project. So see today also as a kind of pilot. Well, does it work? Do we hear from each other? What is the things that really help me as a city to hear from other cities? And at the end, we can reflect on that explicitly. So let's go into all these nice experiences. First, we have 2 representatives of the city of Sofia. Afterwards, Alexander will say a little bit more about the gardens, I think. Well, I don't know. But first of all, Antonia will start. I want to very much thank Antonia for coming. She is substituting Elitsa Panayotova, who in the end could not come. And she can also not stay so long with us because of some health issues in the family, but she can be here with us until the coffee break. Thanks a lot, Elitsa. And no, not Elitsa, Antonia. And the floor is yours. I hope the presentation can be put on, Tony.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. It's a pleasure to be part of the EFUA conference today. My presentation is quite long when I prepared it, but I will keep it short because unfortunately, I cannot present a lot about urban agriculture, so I try to map some of the sustainable policy initiatives that our team is working on, but I'll try to keep it short. We and our team and Sofia municipality believes that a green city is a sustainable city, and efforts of being greener and more sustainable are helping cities to improve and become better places for their citizens. And our end goal when we started work in 2016 was to prepare the application of Sofia for the European Green Capital Award. This was the carrot that we used to move forward sustainability policies of the municipality. And luckily in 2020, Sofia got into the finals. Unfortunately, we did not win, but this motivated us even further to continue our efforts, and one day Sofia becomes a European Green Capital Award. Here are the 12 indicators for sustainability that we started working on when we started our work in Sofia Green Team. Currently the indicators have been shortened, but again they map all the spheres of development of a city. And we decided, our team decided to focus on 4 priority areas because we believe that there we can make biggest progress. These are the green spaces, their management and implementing more green spaces for citizens, air quality, urban mobility and waste management. So I prepared some slides guiding you through all the things that we have done in these fields, but I will keep it very short on some of them because they are not very much related to green spaces and urban agriculture. So some good practices of Sofia. When we started working on preparation for the European Green Capital Award application, we tried to identify what data is already there, what data can be further improved and gathered, and how we can actually illustrate the data in a way that is more understandable for the citizens, because we believe that in order to change behaviors and habits and improve sustainability indicators, people need to know where we stand. So we created a number of maps showing how we stand in different sustainability indicators. Here you can see 2 of the maps. One of them is related to the network analysis of residents' access to public greenery. The other one is indicating the households that are using solid fuels for heating during the winter, because the air quality is a big issue for Sofia. And again, you can see here some maps indicating where the green spaces in the city. We hope that in the long run we'll be able to extend those green spaces, create new ones, and ensure that every citizen has an access to green space within 300 meters of their home. The waste management is another thing that we are focused on, and in order to, again, improve the citizens' awareness how waste management is implemented, and in order to motivate them to change their behaviors and start recycling and things like that, we created a platform that with a map indicates where is the closest bins for recycling, how you can recycle and things like that. Here is the map, and you can see these small circles indicate all the bins for recycling. I will very briefly go through the mobility issue because it's again related to the air quality. The air pollution comes from traffic and heating during winter time, so mobility is contributor to the air quality in the city. We have very good public transportation network service. We also have shared mobility services in the city. You can see bike sharing, e-scooters, e-car sharing, and dockless bikes. We are trying to measure emissions remotely in order to see who are the biggest pollutants. And we have a number of projects that are related to improving awareness, introducing new measures that will help people change habits of using their individual cars. So we have the school bus service and the Compare project, which is focused on raising awareness on sustainability issues, climate change, and so on and so forth. We have, and we are working together with Alexander on this 100K trees European project that will develop a tool that will help cities better manage green spaces, assess the effect of planting new trees, help them also monitor the existing trees. And this is something that started very recently, so we are really excited how it goes. But we'll also use citizen science data in order to map the streets in the cities, and this tool will, in 2 years, become available for other cities in Europe and the world, of course. The InnoAir project is related to mobility mostly, but also has a citizen science app and app that helps you gain coins when you are moving sustainably in the city or doing like sustainable things in your lifestyle, and you receive awards for that, which is something very new for us. We are trying to engage citizens, as I mentioned a few times already, with different campaigns in the metro, on the streets of Sofia, trying to show them that it depends on each one of us how we react to the society in order to improve our environment. And okay, we also working on projects related to e-services and becoming a smarter city, providing more opportunities of citizens to use services online and not to move around to cause traffic. And I'm very happy that we are here today because last year in June we had this Urban Green Conference which gathered people from all around the world, and we have been here for a full day discussing how we can improve the green spaces in our cities, how we can share experiences and practices. The mayors of cities from the Balkan Peninsula were here, and they signed a small declaration saying that they will be working together to improve greenery in the cities on the Balkan Peninsula. And a few words about urban agriculture. I know that yesterday colleagues from Citizen project were here telling you more about what was done on the whole project level, but here in Sofia we actually implemented 2 things. One of them was having co-creation workshops where we managed to develop do-it-yourself vertical gardens for urban farming, allowing even people that don't have enough space for urban farming to make their urban gardens in their home or in front of their blocks of flats. So we developed this instruction that we have. It's downloadable online. And if someone is interested, I will provide you with the link, and it shows you how with very low resources you can actually create a vertical garden for your home. And also, as a follow-up step on this project, this year, Sofia Municipality, which has this program for My Green School, My Green Kindergarten, every year new trees or plants are planted in the schoolyards. This year we extended this, and now schools and kindergartens can apply to receive urban agriculture vertical gardens for their schools, and children also receive a hands-on experience how to plant the seeds, how to take care of them. We are going to visit these places where already 5 kindergartens received their gardens and they're looking after them, so we are currently expecting the first plants to grow and taste them soon. And I will finish by showing the map for places that are good for urban agriculture that Alexander will talk about later. And I hope that I fit into the time frame. Thank you very much, and it was a pleasure.
Thank you very much, Antonia, for this overview of the green city policies and within that urban agriculture. I would suggest that maybe we continue directly with Alexander, who will Alexander is from Sofia Plan, and he has especially worked on the mapping of urban agriculture sites, I think, in Sofia. And then afterwards we can maybe do some questions for the two on the experience of Sofia. Alexander, the floor is yours.
Да, благодаря. Това, което казвах аз съм Александър Петров от София План, ландшафтен архитект в екипа. София План е общинското предприятие на София, което се занимава с макропланирането на града. И съм тук днес да ви представя картата, която по-рано спомена Антония. На презентацията виждате две имена. Другата част от екипа на София План, която най-активно се занимава с изграждането на картата, която ще ви представя, е Даяна Николова. Това е тази прекрасна дама там отзад, която се грижи за това нашата малка дъщеря да не ме заглуши в момента. И така, ще започна презентацията с едно сравнително кратко видео, което представя най-грубо процеса и също нашите разсъждения като екип, както и други членове от екипа, които са работили по картата, след което ще продължа през всички стъпки, които, по-скоро през основните стъпки, през които сме минали, изграждайки тази карта.
Здравейте, ние сме част от екипа на Лъвската предприятие София, който се занимава с картата и градовите музеи на Столична община.
Ще ви разкажа малко повече за ползите от нея и приноса си за всички демографски модели в общината. Ще засегнем възможностите тя да бъде развита като
така, сега ще минем набързо през въпросната карта. Тя може да бъде отворена на адреса, който виждате в момента на този слайд. Ето основните стъпки, през които минахме. Така изглежда картата, като на нея са отразени терени, които са подходящи за градско земеделие, както и вече съществуващи градини. Тук има нужда от актуализация, тъй като има и новопоявили се такива, откакто картата е създадена. И така, всъщност, първото нещо, с което се съобразихме, то общо взето си го представете като едно преситване на информацията за града през сита с различна големина на дупките. И всъщност първото нещо, с което се съобразихме, бяха обектите културно наследство, тъй като това са обекти с специален статут и в тях градско земеделие не би било подходящо да се развива. Втори критерий са обектите на зелената система за широко обществено ползване. Това са паркове и градини, в които, тук една скоба, всъщност тази карта представлява терени, които са подходящи за развитие на комунални градини, т.е. този тип градско земеделие, а не за всички възможни типове градско земеделие, тъй като те не се изчерпват само до комуналните градини. Но такава беше първоначалната идея. И в тази връзка, това, което се каза и на видеото, ние искаме да я надградим тая карта. За съжаление, не ни остава много време напоследък за това. И така, значи, първо, не трябва да бъдат в обекти, които са културна ценност. Второ, не трябва да бъдат в обекти, които са за широко обществено ползване. Като трети критерий добавихме дървесните масиви, тъй като за градското земеделие е необходима светлина. В случая използвахме информация от Коперникус програмата, като допълнително надградихме тази информация с симулация на засенчването, което дърветата правят. Друг критерий, който при разговор с хората, които практикуват градско земеделие, излезе като важен, е нивата на шум, тъй като не би било приятно градското земеделие да се развива в участъци, където шума е твърде голям, почти до нездравословни нива. Друг критерий е застрояването, като тук около всяка сграда, в зависимост от това каква е нейната височина и колко са нейните жители, направихме един буфер. И всъщност, комбинирайки тези всичките критерии, накрая стигнахме до един определен набор от терени, които са подходящи, които припознахме като подходящи за градско земеделие. И тук това нещо, което систематично изведохме, всъщност направи така, че от общо около близо 120 хиляди имоти на територията на София, 7459 от тях са общинска частна собственост. Това беше фокуса на нашите търсения, което е доста голяма цифра, ако трябва да се разглежда всеки един от тези имоти самостоятелно. След нашата системна филтрация, така да я наречем, те спаднаха до 1949 терена, подходящи за озеленяване, за градско земеделие според нас. Допълнително в работата се включи Ангел Буров, който към днешна дата е председател на Съюза на урбанистите в България и също така активен градски земеделец. Като всъщност той се включи в частта с изследване на устройствените територии. Тоест един път от кадастралната карта на база на устройствените територии той прецени кои устройствени територии позволяват да се развива градско земеделие на тях и допълнително надгради с плановете за регулация или подробните устройствени планове за регулация по-скоро, където на ниво отреждане също бяха филтрирани И така, ако не се лъжа, бройката от подходящи терени спадна до някъде около 5-600. Тук не съм 100% сигурен в бройката, забравял съм я, за което се извинявам. Което всъщност даде възможност след това група от доброволци по дистанционни методи, посредством ортофото изображения, да свалят бройката още по-надолу, някъде около 200 мисля, че станаха. И в крайна сметка тези 200 бяха прегледани отново от доброволци на терен, като крайната бройка се сведе до 64, което всъщност води до... Сами разбирате колко полезно всъщност се оказа цялото това наше упражнение и беше припознато като полезна практика на европейско ниво. Допълнително към картата добавихме слоеве, които по-скоро служат за някакъв ориентир на хората, които се занимават с градско земеделие. Това са примерно нивата на подпочвените води и достъпа до спирки на масов градски транспорт. И всъщност идеята е тя да бъде надградена с още информация, но това предстои. Надявам се в скоро време да успеем да я надградим. И благодаря за вниманието.
Thank you very much, Alexander, for this insight in this interesting mapping exercise. Maybe I would like to ask straight away a question to the both of you. How do you also use this map in promotion of urban agriculture or licensing, giving licenses or permissions for urban agriculture? How is that related?
Unfortunately, currently the ordinances and the scheme that we have at Sofia municipality doesn't frame how to license urban agriculture. So urban agriculture projects are more dealt with on case-by-case basis, identifying that the space is owned by the municipality and municipality providing this area to people that are willing to take care for it with some small rent.
Yeah. Okay.
But the plans are that hopefully sooner than later, the documents that we have, the ordinances and so on and so forth, will allow for a more structured way to create and take care for urban agriculture gardens.
Okay, thank you. Someone from the audience wants to ask a question. Lucy. Huh?
Keeps on holding it himself. Thank you. This is really interesting, and a little bit following up to Henk questions. I'm curious if you see this map already being used, or how would you imagine this process to go? Would it be a group of citizens identifying a plot and going to the municipality, or would it be the other way around, the municipality really stimulating local people to get engaged in the selected places?
For now, I think the map is used by the citizens in order to go and talk with the municipality. We don't have, unfortunately, so much, how to say, proactive actions from the municipality. But the reason for that is law-based. And we hopefully, this that Antonio mentioned, we will hope to do some changes in the law in order to promote this even further and to make it possible for the urban agriculture to develop much more easier than how it is now. So yeah, if this, yeah.
Okay, thank you. There's another question. I saw that Daniel has a question also. Can you give the microphone? Well, I give the microphone.
Yes, thank you very much for putting urban agriculture on the map, literally. Yesterday we've learned that the availability of land is one of the crucial prerequisites for urban agriculture. And I think you're really addressing this issue with your map, and I also like this idea of drawing like the bigger picture of how urban agriculture could look like on the level of the municipality. I would also be interested, since it seems to be analytical work, finding areas which are yes, suitable or which have the potential to be used for urban agriculture, but you also mentioned that you're mapping out existing projects. What's like the balance of it? Is it still more analytical work or also presenting what has already been established?
The second one, it's presenting what is already there, and yeah, I think this is your question. Yeah.
And do you also plan as municipality to use that, like to give publicity to urban agriculture, or?
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I would like to add here that we are, and I mentioned it a couple of times in my presentation, we are constantly trying to raise awareness among citizens that opportunities exist, and this map is a tool that is also used in these regards, that there are areas and terrains that you can use for urban agriculture, and you have the power to ask for these terrains, and it's not so hard to get access to them.
Yeah. Okay, very nice. Neela still has a question. That's the last question.
I'm very impressed about the tool. It's actually a GIS, a geosystem information tool. So do you know of other cities also using this way of mapping? And if not, could other cities call you or Sofia Plan to order a study about, or do you have plans in that way? That's my question.
I'm not sure that I understood the second part of what you were asking. I don't know for any other cities that are using such approach, mapping in the systematical level, the suitable plots. But what was your second?
If, for example, Krakow would call you tomorrow, we have seen this, we learned this, can we also access this tool? Can we make use of?
Of course, actually, the map and how it is built, it's pretty simple way of doing it. So every city that has I don't know, GIS specialists can do it very easily, and with enough data, of course. But Sofia is not among the cities with the most richest data, so even so, we could do it. So everybody, I think, could do it as well. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Well, actually, I think that there are quite some experiences in other cities with making maps of urban agriculture, but it's mostly maps of existing initiatives. What I think is very interesting in your approach is the suitability, let's say, and the type of filters that you use, which you maybe also can still debate, but yeah, so thanks a lot. I want to ask one last question to you as the city of Sofia in this case. If you start thinking about what are the main challenges for you as a city to develop further policies on urban agriculture, you already mentioned the issue of consciousness, awareness of people, but what would be other key factors or bottlenecks to develop further urban agriculture policies? Big question, maybe?
It's a very difficult question to answer, but I think that in order to progress further on this, we need, of course, apart from awareness of the citizens that they can do that and their will to do that, we need to have political will, of course, in order to move forward the legislation for this to develop, and also be able to tackle social resistance, because on the one hand we have people willing to have urban agriculture close to their homes or in the city, but also we have a lot of people that are not willing because they're scared of some bees that might be coming and pesticides and things like that. So finding the balance is something that is also needed.
If I can add,
Alexander?
probably the first step should be to separate the urban agriculture from the other kinds of agriculture, because by the law now we don't allow into the city boundary to practice agriculture in a matter of стопанско земеделие.
Yeah, like a formal land use category. It's not in spatial planning. Yeah, I think that's a general issue, which is also in many other cities a problem, that in fact the only possibility that you have is green space, or it's agricultural, professional agricultural land use, but not something in the middle. Yeah, okay. Thanks a lot. Well, I want to thank both of you very much. A big applause for Antonia and Alexander. And well, thank you, Antonia. I think you cannot stay much longer with us, but stay as long as you can and want. And I want to ask again the people in the audience also, please know that you have your post-its. If you have ideas after this experience, put it on a post-it and stick it on the page of Sofia there. So let's move on to another local experience. We stay in the southern eastern part of Europe. We go to Greece now. So I want to give the floor to Olga Foutsikaki of the Thessaloniki Food Council, who will say us something about food policies more general, I think, but especially about urban agriculture experience in Thessaloniki. Olga.
Thank you very much. I'm Olga Foutsikaki. I'm an agronomist, I'm a coordinator at Food Rails Project and a partner of Municipality of Thessaloniki, and I'm here to share with you the vision of food and its production in the city. Just to say that Thessaloniki is the second largest city in Greece, and it has a unique and specific gastronomic identity. About the food vision. Urban food policies and agriculture as innovative tools for a sustainable urbanization and a reason to transform food system. More specifically, limit food systems' impact on climate and environment, shorten and strengthen, shorten and strengthen food production chains, influence food public procurement or to change it, create more urban agriculture spaces, engage more communities on food initiatives, and of course, to create more access to healthy and nutritious food for everybody, especially those in need. Why? Okay. How to reach this vision? Thessaloniki has already joined creative networks and initiatives, such as Eurocities Network, Milan Food Pact Initiative, Urban Vineyards Association, Net Zero Cities Mission, that is all interesting and inspiring for us, and European projects like UNESCO Thessaloniki City of Gastronomy and Food Rails Project. Food Strategies of City meet Food Rails Project, as already you know now, that is a European Horizon project, 20 partners consortium, 11 cities, 6 organizations, 3 universities with 4 pillars: nutrition, climate change, innovation, and circular economy. based on European food strategies and policies. In the pictures you can see the project's tools, and the city now is working on creating living labs and on pilots, which are two. Food Policy Council and Urban Agriculture Initiatives. Food Policy Council, the truth is that it's decided on 2015, but because of a cyber attack of the municipality of Thessaloniki and COVID period, the launch day was on last October. It is an innovative tool for us because it's the first Greek food policy in a Greek municipality, and of course a cooperative mechanism to address sustainability and resilience in the city by submitting a series of policy guidelines which are going to approved by City Council and then to constitute municipalities' food policy. Also to work on its institutionalization, that this is very important for us now. Seek for cross-sectoral and governmental collaborations, create innovative ideas to be a part of a national norm, push for public policies, of course. Its parties are municipalities offer, official members, local experts and academia, school community, touristic enterprises, NGOs like environmental groups, local farmers, volunteers, and generally civil society. There is a core group for the Food Council from municipality official members and partners. For example, me, I'm a member of this core group and a member of the thematic group for the first unit. The units are food production and distribution, education and nutrition, food waste and circular economy, and gastronomy. I'm not going to analyze because I don't have the time, but I want to say an example that in the first unit, the idea came to support the locality, local products, producers, and especially organic farmers by establishing an open public market once per week, and of course support the interaction between the people that are growing vegetables in the city with the organic producers. And all the urban agriculture initiatives are included in this unit. Come on. Okay. The second pilot is the initiatives. In Thessaloniki there is a Doxa Park consisting of urban vineyard, Kipos Tria project, the pilot action project, and orchard. We are planning to have vegetable gardens in schoolyards, and events for planting herbs and composting events on green roofs in Thessaloniki. Our A, we used to say the big effort in a very small scale, the urban vineyard. It's the first Greek urban vineyard. It is established in 2013. It is located across the second largest stadium in Greece, in 2 acres area that previously was located municipality's engineering workshop, and for many years the space was empty. It's it's something innovative also, because generally in Greece we take green spaces and we build, and now we have here an urban vineyard. It is important because it's also organic cultivation with 4 indigenous varieties, and the first harvest was on 2015. The varieties are 2 red, Xenomavro and Agorgitico, and 2 wine, Malagousia and Robola. We produce 350 bottles per year, and the name of the wine is Gorgona, mermaid, linked to the history. It's important also that the vinification process is happening to Yerovasiliou Estate, a very famous winery in Greece, as a donation, and it was the first alliance supporter from the first step for urban vineyard. Also, our wine Gorgona is given for social dinners, for social function, for example, social dinners and an auction. These pictures are from the last auction in December that Gorgona dressed with labels from artworks of Greek artists, and the proceeds gave for charities. Okay, what else to say? Municipality, the people are involved are from Municipality of Thessaloniki. The idea came from the Directorate of Green Management and Environment, Aristotle University, Viticulture Department, private sector volunteers, and of course the neighborhood. Come on, okay. We used to say that it's a delightful, Corona is delightful because it's an effort of a joint effort. And finally, in this year, 2023, we became member in Urban Vineyard Association, a creative network, cities network along New York, Barcelona, Milan, Paris, Avignon, and so more cities to support culture and history of viticulture. Every year, we're organizing tours and visits in our vineyard for environmental groups and students, creating living labs in the occasion of food trails, like planning lessons, creating synergies with professors, and of course, the purpose is clear to create benefits for environment and communities. Sorry for that. Okay. The other part of Doxa Park is Kypostria Vegetable Gardens and the orchard. I had some pictures here, but I don't know what's happening. Okay.
This is like the other activity or not, the orchard?
I don't know why. Okay, anyway.
It doesn't click ahead very well.
Doesn't work?
No, don't know.
Okay, I'm just going to say that Kypostria is Community Vegetable Gardens, a funding project supported by Center of Environmental Education. Municipality of Thessaloniki gave the space, the free space, water, tools, and cleaning. And we had an orchard of the top with fruit trees, almonds, and lemon trees, apricots, and it's a free space for the citizen. And also other ongoing actions on urban agriculture are the schoolyards, the events, the planting, the living lamps of planting vegetables in schoolyards and planting edible herbs in green roofs. Thessaloniki has 4 green planted roofs in public buildings, especially in schools. And in the occasion of the project, we are going to have these living labs in the end of May to understand the importance of herbs and the composting process.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Olga, for this introduction and the experience of the city of Thessaloniki. Now it goes ahead.
Doesn't
Okay.
matter. Okay.
I want to take time for 2 questions. Who wants to ask something about the experience of Thessaloniki? Well, I have a question myself. You're doing this as part of the Food Trails project, which is in itself an exchange of cities across Europe. I know that you already show it works on much more topics, but are there more cities in the Food Trails project also working on urban agriculture?
Most of the cities are working in transformation of food system, and there are cities working on urban agriculture like Copenhagen with vegetable gardens in schoolyards also, and many other.
Okay. And you exchange also with those cities on the experiences?
Yes, we exchange knowledge, and we have peer-to-peer learning, online workshops. We have meetings, annual partner meetings every year.
Yeah, and some exchange visits also, I think. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Giacomo. Yeah. Oh, there. I want to stick with mine.
Okay, thank you, Olga. My question is, what is your experience for the involvement of partners in the Food Council? No, have you witnessed an interest in participating in Food Council, something useful, something interesting for their activities, or just something to do because they've been invited to?
The truth is that this initiative, the Food Council, is its primary steps still. As you can imagine that the launch day was on the last October. But already we have communicated and we have meetings with organic farmers of Thessaloniki that they are really interested in joining in the thematic group, the first thematic group for food production and distribution. And there are a lot of how to say, solidarity groups, NGOs that they really want to join in the Food Council. I think that there are a lot of people who would like to join in, and professors. The only problem that I can see is the bureaucracy, you know, and the slow transformation of this system.
Yeah. Thanks. Another question? No one? Okay, then I suggest that we move on to Krakow. And please remember, you've got your sticky notes, so if something comes up in the meantime, or you have an idea or just a suggestion that you want to give to the people from the different cities, write it down, and afterwards in the break you can put it on the different flipovers. So, thanks a lot, Olga, for explaining this experience of...
I was a bit nervous because it's the first time I participate in a conference. Thank you very much.
You did very well. Thanks a lot. You should repeat that more often.
Okay,
So let's go to the experience of Krakow. We've got with us Katarzyna Przymjewska-Grzyzik. A lot of
even
You
more difficult than
Yeah.
Italians. Okay.
Who will speak to us about the community gardens program of the city of Krakow.
Yeah, I will try to show you the way, which is quite unusual way, because it's a top-bottom approach, which is not so popular among many of you. And I'm sure that I won't be able to do it in 10 minutes, sorry. So that was the starting point. We had only one community garden in 2015-16 when we started to work, because the Krakow Municipal Green Spaces was established in 2015. And this is the starting point for the green spaces to be more and more representative, and the topic of community gardens and urban agriculture started. We started with the meeting with inhabitants, and that's probably something that I could recommend you to know better, to diagnose, to see the opportunities and barriers, and to learn about the expectations of the inhabitants. One of the things that we discovered was the barrier, which was the lack of knowledge. So we started with the campaign ABC of Urban Gardening. And it consists, because it's still there, from a few that kind of stands and the leaflets which were corresponding with the stands that helped us to learn inhabitants about the calendar of the garden, about how to compost, how to water the plants, and things like that. We thought that maybe this will be the nice way to encourage them to start to garden on the balcony, which is more easy to implement than create the garden with the people who not necessarily know. You know, the next step was the School of Urban Gardeners. So the workshops were during the season, people could come and learn more about the gardening. And what was really important, it was how to inform them about the process of establishing of the garden, urban garden. So we prepared the leaflet, which is available also on our website. What steps should be done to start the garden? And as you can see on the leaflet, we have a few elements of support that we can offer our inhabitants. First things first, there is a land for free. They don't have to pay for it. They can they have to sign an agreement, but they not necessarily have to be an association or NGO. They can be like private persons, because we discovered during the first meeting that we don't have so many associations like in Italy, for example. So that would be a great obstacle if we could, if we expected them to be an association. So we also offer them a package of tools for the beginning. Tree care, if they have the trees on the land, rubbish collection, and of course consultation, training, and the assistance of the community garden coordinator. At the moment we have 16 community gardens in Krakow, as you can see on the map, but we have also some extra community gardens, which I will take later on. About the challenges, I would like divide it into two groups: people and space. People. To be the gardens sustainable for a longer time, the gardens need hands to work. And as you all probably know, people have the power, the interest at the beginning, and later on they lost it in the process. So lack of time, lack of knowledge, those are things that are the reasons. Low level of social trust, also to join the group of people who are leading the garden. Sometimes shame, because we discovered that not many people from the marginalized groups are joining the gardens. Not many homeless, unemployed are ready to join the group which is existing, not even saying about starting that kind of garden, because it's a difficult process. Consistency, expectations, which are different from different people in one group, and sort of shyness, like to join the group which is there. About the space, of course, vandalism. When we started, we thought that no fence are obligatory because we want the gardens to be open. But unfortunately, there are some acts of vandalism that made the fencing obligatory. Infrastructure, money, especially toilets, which cost a lot of money and needs some investment. Utilities and things like that, but our inhabitants are doing quite well. They use the participatory budget to arrange the infrastructure of the garden. We find it also very problematic, the topic of design. I'm sorry to say that because I'm a part of the Krakow Municipal Green Space Authority, but our landscape architects who are finishing the studies, they have really low awareness of what the community gardens have to have in their structure. So they are designing things which are absolutely inappropriate, and we are trying to teach them, taking them to the tours, for example, to Berlin within one of the European projects we had. And also land use, finally, as we discovered here, there is a lot of land in which is owned by the municipality, but some of the land are planned to be for something different, roads, buildings, etc. And finally, there is not so many areas that we can establish the gardens. EU projects, that is the great support that we received. Without this project, we wouldn't be there where we are. And what was probably the most important thing, all elements were important, in fact, but regulations. That was something that we find really helpful. We are the first city in Poland that have regulations regarding community gardens. And it was one of my personal goals, because I knew that starting the idea of community gardening in Krakow was kind of my obsession. But I was afraid that when one day the Krakow Municipal Green Space will be removed from the structure of the municipality, also the community garden's future will be unsecure. So that's why the regulations which are now the resolution of the City Council established are so important, and I really recommend each city to take care of that, because I know from many other cities which has a lot of community gardens, like Berlin, like London, like Vienna, that there are a lot of problems connected to the fact that they don't have the common rules for all the community gardens. And they feel they are treated very unfairly depending on the way they are, especially in cities like Berlin or Vienna, where you have this capital city, and this they are divided into districts, and districts has a lot of power. So you can imagine that it's really difficult for the gardens to look for the future with hope. The other project we took part was Gardenizer. I really recommend everyone who is interested in gardening to take a Gardenizer course. There is the Gardenizer Pro website, so you can see. So we trained a lot of our gardeners within this project. Also, the great project we finished last year, it was Gardens as inclusive green learning spaces. The great potential, as we all know, of green spaces as a learning spaces. And we published the publication which is available on our website, so I can share it with you, and it's in English, in many different languages, because it was translated by partners. So it's really interesting. It's about inclusiveness and about learning. At the moment we are starting the new project. It will be about plot community gardens. It's called Co-Farm Cities for Cities. And we will try to adapt the model of Rome, the model of community gardens, which we really like, which is different from our models we have in Poland, because our community gardens are like really shared gardens. They don't have like separate plots like you see here. They share plots together, they share crops if they have it, but the crops are not the most important thing. It's mainly about the community and that stuff. I want to mention about something which is for sure very important. I think that could be very inspirative for maybe some of you. We call this project Classic Garden, and it's about the reactivating of school gardens. When I was a kid, I had a school garden, but later on the school gardens almost disappeared. The schools have the green spaces, but they are unused as a as a school gardens. But what's different in this project, we want to be the school gardens, the school community gardens, so they should be open for the community. Why it's so important for kids? As you can see, a list of things that can be learned by gardening. The most important thing is this strengthening the sense of self-esteem and empowerment of kids. We see it, and I think that's absolutely one of the most important things at the beginning of young people's life. We have like 4 levels of certification in this course. On this 4th level, when they reach the expertise, they have to open for the community. If they won't do it, they won't be able to reach the highest prize, because for each level they receive some sort of price. We want them to be to not expect from us that we will give them everything for the beginning. They have the community. They have all what they need in the community of parents and in the neighborhood, and they don't expect it. They give some rewards after each level of engagement. We have at the moment the second edition. First edition was quite difficult. We have 18 schools in each edition. At the moment we have 13 primary schools and 5 kindergartens who are doing really well. And what are the values? Values for school is prestige because they are certificated, and we see that even parents are looking differently for the school with the certificate of Classic Garden. They gain the green classroom where they can teach a lot of many different subjects, happy kids, closer to nature, attractive green spaces. And for neighborhood, again, new attractive green spaces which was closed and it's open, education because they can be a part of it, community and empowerment. And I think this shows really how important this quote, how important it's this project for kids. They love digging in the soil because their parents never let them, they don't have time. They have never, for example, sown anything by themselves. Then they even argue about shovels. So you can see how important for kids it's that. So this is the map of both. And from the balcony, now we are getting to the edible Krakow. This is our newest project, and it's about the food sovereignty. And this is the history. We are telling about the heritage, and there was a local production in the city, and we try to show our inhabitants that in those places that they don't expect it, their representative markets and some districts of the city where are offices and flats. There were fields who were producing food for the city, and the aims, the main goals is promoting urban farming, local food production, conscious nutrition, conscious consumption, and we hope that declaration that our vice mayor did a month ago, that we are ready as a city to join the Milano Pact and to prepare our own food policy, will be realized soon. And how we will do it, we will be, for example, growing edible plants composition in pots or green spaces, and they will be signed with the pine, and they will be searching for these pots and these spaces with edible plants in the city, and we will also try to make them interested in mapping green spaces in terms of edible landscape. Soon we will have the great Edible Krakow Fest, where we will have plant exchange workshops, etc., etc. So I think that it will be something that will change the perception of the city, and will, for me, it's even at the moment, it's a big success that our policymakers are thinking about the food sovereignty, which was 2 years ago something that was left abandoned and no one was interested in that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Katarzyna, for this very comprehensive overview of urban agriculture policies and initiatives in Krakow. It's very nice, and I think now already, even looking through the different presentations, also some things come up that are important everywhere. The issue of regulations comes up a lot, give secure situations also for the urban gardens. The issue of knowledge, training, awareness, school gardens, I think also a lot. Pilots that maybe a city can take. So interesting, I think, for the discussion also on what can cities learn from each other. And I liked very much what you said, that without those international engagement in projects that we would not have been as far as we are. So maybe this already, that's a statement that there is a basis for this kind of networking. We want to have a break, but I want to give space for 2 questions. I see Guido has a question. Oh, much more questions. 3, 4, well, we'll take the opportunity. We just have the time. We are here together, so more. Guido. Yeah, and use your post-its, I want to see, after the break, I want to see that full with post-its.
Thank you for the presentation. I was curious to know more about the Green Space Authority. What is the mandate, the role, and how does somehow involve the civil society, and if there is a mechanism through the Green Space Authority to also influence the food system, no? Not only the allocation of land for agriculture, but the entire food system.
We'll see. But in fact, I see that in the city, it's a process. So the steps I made a few years ago, talking about the community gardens, bring us to the moment where our vice mayor declared that the city is considering things which were absolutely not interesting them a few years ago. So I think that it really matters a lot if I think that there is not much global understanding of that topic. But you know, by inviting people for a meeting, we had really great, really amusing, and that was really something that I think what was a huge sign for our mayor. We had a meeting with stakeholders, the first meeting from the Edible Krakow, where we were talking about the food policies and urban farming in the larger scale. And he joined the meeting. He even himself decided I have to be there, he told me. I was surprised even. And he joined the meeting and he saw the crowd. They didn't know that 100 people came for this meeting. That was first meeting of this topic. So you can imagine how surprised he was. And he understood that this is something that is important. And the same was with the community garden I created in the Heritage Pure Center of the city, close to the municipality. It is a courtyard of the municipality. It was, I can admit, it was like more top-bottom initiative. I wanted, by that community garden, because I knew that there's a lot of schools around in the city center that have no land, no green spaces to lead the green education. Some people living in the city center, they also don't have the opportunity to cultivate anything. So, but I also wanted to have, to make him understand, our main mayor, what the community gardens are all about. What kind of space is that people can gather there, that municipality workers, the city guards, they together take care of the space, and it worked. Yeah. So now he can't say that he doesn't know what the community gardens are.
Yeah, so also the engagement of local politicians is very important.
Yeah, it changed a lot through the times, the engagement of the citizens. Yeah. Because we were talking yesterday about that. What's the difference in the post-communist countries? We were not very willing, it's in the process, it's changing. We were not very willing to join to the volunteering work because we were forced to do it. So that's why we are not so, it also changes. that's why we don't have so many associations. We don't want to be structured. That's why we offered the opportunity to make the agreement with the private person.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. One more question, Ian?
Yes, how do you overcome resistance from colleagues?
There's not much resistance, in fact. My boss is a great person. He trusts me and enables me to do things like that. And as long as he's not making problems, as I say, we are doing quite well. And the same, our vice mayor. You know, they have I try to understand it because they have so many different issues related to the city stuff. So they can't, you know, pay so much attention to everything. So it's good if they let us act and trust us with what we are doing. And I think my colleagues from Sofia want exactly and expect exactly the same. Just let us do what we do.
Departments, and they can sometimes be almost at war with each other.
Well, I'm not a politician and I won't never be, but I have learned through the years how to share the proud of some things with the other departments and some district councillors who are really happy to have pictures with the community gardeners. We have really, you wouldn't believe how many community gardens are supported at the moment by the district councillors. So, you know, as long as no one suffers.
Okay, thank you very much, Katarzyna. One more time, a big hand. The other questions, please put them on post-its and put them there, but I think we all want to have a break also now and to have a coffee. We're a little bit behind schedule, but I want to suggest that we really limit the coffee break to 15 minutes. Then after the breaks, we still have 4 exciting experiences to talk about, and we will continue the discussions that we have now. So 15 minutes coffee break.